Imagine a life where your home sways gently with the waves, your morning begins with the sound of water against the hull, and the horizon is your backyard. While most of us live in houses on land, there are entire communities across the world who have chosen to spend their entire lives on boats. For them, water isn't just a place to fish or travel, it's home. Today, we'll take you on a fascinating journey to explore the people who live entirely on boats, surviving, thriving, and building unique cultures in the middle of rivers, lakes, and seas. 1. The Bajau people, the sea nomads of Southeast Asia. Deep in the waters of Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines live the Bajau, often called the sea gypsies. For centuries, these people have lived almost entirely on their wooden houseboats, drifting from island to island. They rarely set foot on land, except to trade or gather supplies. Which makes the Bajau truly unique is their incredible ability to dive deep into the ocean without oxygen tanks. Some can hold their breath for more than 10 minutes, hunting fish and collecting shellfish from the seafloor. Scientists even discovered that their spleens are larger than average, an adaptation that allows them to store more oxygen. Their children learn to swim before they can even walk, and the sea is their playground, school, and hunting ground. The Bajau proved that human beings can adapt to almost any environment, even living entirely on water. 2. The Uros people of Lake Titicaca, floating islands of reeds. In South America, on the world's highest navigable lake, Titicaca, the Uros people have built a remarkable way of life. They don't just live on boats, they live on floating islands made entirely of reeds. These islands, anchored in shallow waters, are strong enough to hold entire families, houses, and even schools. The Uros move across the lake as they please, cutting and rebuilding their islands whenever they need to. Their reed boats are their lifeline, used for fishing, trading, and traveling between islands. It's a floating civilization that shows how humans can create homes literally out of nature. Tourists today can visit the Uros Islands, but for the locals, this floating lifestyle has been their reality for centuries. 3. The Tanka people, water villagers of China. Along the rivers and coasts of southern China live the Tanka, an ethnic group sometimes called the boat people. For generations, many Tanka families spent their entire lives on fishing boats, rarely going ashore. They created floating villages where children were born, grew up, married, and raised new generations all on water. Though modernization has forced many to move to land, there are still Tanka communities keeping this ancient lifestyle alive. They're floating markets, where boats gather to sell seafood, vegetables, and daily necessities, are among the most colorful and lively in Asia. For the Tanka, boats are not just transportation, they are home, heritage, and culture. 4. The Haenyeo divers of Jeju Island, Korea's Women of the Sea. Off the coast of South Korea lies Jeju Island, home to the famous Haenyeo women divers. While they don't live permanently on boats, their lives are so deeply tied to the sea that their existence revolves around it. For centuries, these women have ventured into the ocean with nothing but simple goggles and nets, diving up to 20 meters deep to harvest abalone, seaweed, and shellfish. Entire communities depend on their catches, and their floating boats serve as mobile homes where they rest, sort their harvest, and cook meals. The Haenyeo embody strength and resilience, proving that a life bound to the ocean is not just possible but deeply empowering. 5. The floating villages of Tonle Sap, Cambodia's water world. In Cambodia's Tonle Sap Lake, thousands of families live in houses built on floating platforms or houseboats. These villages rise and fall with the changing water levels, and entire communities, schools, churches, shops, float together. Life here revolves around fishing, which provides not only food, but also trade with nearby towns. During floods, these floating homes drift across the lake, following the fish and adjusting to nature's rhythm. For outsiders, it might look like a temporary settlement, but for the people of Tonle Sap, this is permanent life on water. 6. The Kashmir houseboats, life on Dal Lake. In India's Kashmir Valley, Dal Lake is famous for its stunning wooden houseboats. Originally built during colonial times, when outsiders were not allowed to own land in the region, these houseboats became permanent homes for local families. Today, some are used as tourist accommodations, but many remain lived in by locals. Families spend their lives floating on the lake, traveling in colorful shikaras, small boats used for everything from shopping to school. It's a calm, dreamlike existence where the water is as much a part of daily life as land is for the rest of us. 7. The nomadic boat tribes of Myanmar Moken people. In the Andaman Sea around Myanmar and Thailand live the Moken, another sea nomadic tribe. Often called sea gypsies, like the Bajau, they live on small wooden boats known as kabang. These boats serve as homes, kitchens, and bedrooms for entire families. The Moken are expert free divers and hunters, skilled at reading the ocean currents and surviving entirely from the sea. What's fascinating is that their children's eyesight actually adapts to underwater vision, allowing them to see clearly while diving. It's a floating way of life that seems almost mythical, but it's real and continues even in today's modern world. 8. The riverboat markets of Vietnam. Mekong's floating life. On Vietnam's Mekong River, entire floating markets spring up every morning. Families live on their boats, selling fruits, vegetables, and fish directly from the water. These floating homes are passed down through generations, and life here never stops moving. Children grow up learning to balance on narrow boats, and every aspect of life from cooking to schooling happens on the river. For the people of the Mekong, the river isn't just a source of food, it's a living highway and a home. 9. The Guarao fishing families, Brazil's boat dwellers. On the coasts of Brazil, fishing communities known as Guarao spend their lives aboard boats, sailing from one fishing ground to another. For them, the sea provides not just food, but also shelter, culture, and community. Their boats are simple but strong, passed down from parents to children. Nights are spent under the stars, rocking gently with the waves, while mornings begin with casting nets into the ocean. The Guarao show that even in modern times, people can still live fully connected to the water. 10. The Amsterdam houseboats. Modern floating homes. Not all boat life belongs to the past. In Amsterdam, thousands of people live in stylish houseboats along the city's famous canals. These homes have electricity, internet, and modern comforts, but they still float gently on the water. What started as a practical solution to housing shortages has turned into one of the most iconic ways of life in Europe. For residents, waking up to ducks swimming by their windows and a city reflected in the canals is just part of daily life. From ancient sea nomads to modern houseboats, people around the world have proven that life on water isn't just possible. It can be beautiful, resilient, and deeply cultural. These floating worlds remind us that human beings can adapt to almost anything. So, would you ever live your life entirely on a boat?